So welcome to Manchester. Hope you like that. That was done by our marketing cinematic group, which did an amazing job on the Carrick commercial. So it is awesome to be back here in Manchester. In 15, it was actually the first time we showed the very beginning glimpse of the baby PU, we called it then. Now we have a much bigger persistent universe. So we're back here 4 years. It's actually where our biggest development area is. We have about 300 and I think 30 people working up in here in Manchester. So we're very, very happy to be here. Welcome to everyone that's joining us from around the world here locally, and also everyone that's watching online live. Thank you for joining and watching us. And we also want to thank the sponsors that have helped us out with the event. So we have LG, AMD, Actina, and Corsair, who have all contributed equipment and helped out in general with the event. So thank you guys very much. Anyway, we're looking forward to giving you a great show today. There's a lot of really cool panels. And we're actually going to do something a little different with the demo this time around. We're going to have an opening portion of the demo, and then we're going to come back at the very end of the day and sort of finish it up. And just also let you know that the auditorium panels that are going on that you guys can go and see during there, and there's some really cool and great ones. I also don't know if you guys are going to have a chance to check out Theaters of War, because I think that's still in the early stages, but it'd be really great to have your feedback, and I think it's going to be kind of cool and fun. But the auditorium sort of talks will be available on YouTube in a couple of days for you guys. So let's do our beginning demo and go from there. So first, let me call our two on-stage demo players. So Glenn, come on up. So not a demo without Glenn. And I think your first demo was the one in Manchester, wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, I did Gamescom first.
Yeah. Oh, you did Gamescom, and then we did the Manchester one, right? Yeah. There we go. So Glenn, it wouldn't be enough. He's got his boots on too. And we have a new demo player, Sam. Come on up. Here we go, Sam. Sam is going to be the captain of the Carrick. So she goes, and she's sporting, as is Glenn, our fancy new Carrick shirt. Very cool. Welcome up. And then finally, Todd Pappy, who is the live Star Citizen Universe director, who will be joining me on stage. And I have a couple of hidden individuals over there that I will bring up here shortly when we get into the demo. All right, okay, let's start it. So we're here in the Carrick after, I don't know, quantum travel, coming from somewhere. And
go ahead, Glenn.
Let's wake up out of bed. After he's done a fancy pan around the Carrick to show you.
And we're out here, we're basically
in orbit around
Microtech. Yeah.
So to let you guys know, because I think it leaked on Reddit because it said coming in February, we're not quite ready to have the Carrick in the initial 3.8 release, but it will be in a subsequent 3.8 release. So it's not waiting till 3.9. So I think in February it should be done, and that's mostly because we still have some sort of LED stuff to do and some damage stuff and some of the finishing touches of the tech stuff. All right, so let's
get dressed.
Get dressed, put a jacket on. So it's the beginning of we're still working on some of our, but ultimately there'll be a lot more sort of physical inventory on what you're going to use, and you'll sort of see that why it comes into effect later on in the demo. Let's just do a little bit of a tour, maybe go off to the mess. Grab a bit of morning coffee. Here's a pool table. If you're bored on a long journey, exploring the frontiers. There's a mess on the other side of the living quarters. And then look out the window, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Yeah, we can't see the plant out the window there, right?
It's on the other side.
All right, let's have a little cup of coffee. So we had coffee in the last CitizenCon demo. So,
Yeah, well, again, this plays towards our actor status, which we'll get into a little bit later, where you will have to eat, you will have to drink stuff to stay alive. Again, we're not trying to make it so that you have to do it every hour or anything like that, but it is part of survival. Oh.
Whoops.
Just move.
Good morning.
This is one of our other players, Joe, on the Carrack. Has the VoIP server gone down again?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So Joe was actually... Phil, can you switch to just have the comms that... Sorry,
Yeah.
The back-end services that does the VoIP board seems to be sticky here. It was on our previous, and then it went off, and then it's gone on again. So here's Sam.
Morning.
So her voice isn't working either.
Well, no, it's the VoIP servers are down.
Yeah, so
which I don't know. They were working. We span it just before you guys came in. It worked. Yeah. Now it's down, and it was off the other time.
So basically, she will be sharing a mission with us, and then at that point in time, Glenn will go meet a contact on the planet. So in 3.7, we introduced mission sharing, and obviously we still have some group work to do to make things feel fluid and getting in and out of parties and all of that. But basically, this is another step into making sure that, we want people to play together, or we want the players to at least have the ability, or if they have the desire to play together, to do it very quickly.
And this is a mission to go down to Microtech, which is the first time we're going to go down there and visit part of it and steal a software encryption algorithm. So not just Silicon Valley, it's also here in Star Citizen Space. The encryption of algorithms are very important. So we're getting that from Twitch. So Glenn will accept that, and let's head down. And what's already happened is Sam has sent one of our other players down to go and get a couple of items that you would need for the mission, which is a scientist outfit and a key card. So Glenn is now going to go into the Carrack, into the Pisces, sorry, and head down to Microtech. So we're going to keep the Carrack up in orbit, and we're going to go down to New Babbage on Microtech.
So as you start seeing here, we are rolling out the new building blocks in the UI. This has been a large initiative on our team to basically empower our developers to actually use it when they're making things. And versus it being bottlenecked by our previous smaller UI team.
All right, that's the upper bridge in the Carrack, and see that? And through there, I think, is the drone room down on the left-hand side, I believe.
Yep.
And here is the Carrack hangar bay, the Pisces hangar bay. And in the back, there's the two rear turrets, and then also the engine room here, which is another one of our players. So Glenn's going to ask him to open the hangar for him when he gets into the Pisces. But of course, since our back-end VoIP service decided to die, and our back-end stuff, you just imagine it being said. We can take Not a bad idea to take a pour. Could come in handy later in the mission. All right, let's go into Pisces, Glenn.
Open the hangar doors.
All right, so we're gonna go to the Pisces. Joe's going to come with us so he can take the he'll take the ship back to the Carrack after we've got down there, and they'll rendezvous and meet with us later.
Amphib Aerospace, all systems online.
Can we get player 2 on my screen left, please? Right, yeah. No, I need player 1 in the main screen, player 2 screen left it was, but I think we're a little slow on our things. Okay. Back to player 1. Can I get player 1 back on the main screen, please? Player 1 main screen, thank you. Okay, that's player 1 on the screen right, main screen, please. Sorry about this, we had this going before, I don't know what's happening. Okay, there we go. All right, Glenn. Should you put, let's go exterior and then also get your landing gear back up. See our pretty landing gear going up. Go underneath it. Okay, well, All right. And let's set a course to Microtech. Can I switch to have player 3 on the screen to the right, the very right screen? Player 3, please. Okay, here we are, coming out. No. Player 1, center screen. Player 1 should be the center screen, this whole demo, please. Okay.
So we introduced space stations around orbit, around the planets. They will have HABs and basically other shops and all of that. So that will roll out with 3.8. So every planet, Lorville, ArcCorp, Microtech, and then obviously we have Port Alisar.
Yeah, and this is Port Tresla, which is the orbital station around Microtech. And as we're going to descend down to Microtech, I want to bring Ian onto the stage. Ian Leland is our art director of the Persistent Universe. And so one of the big things that we're rolling out with 3.8 is Procedural Planet Tech V4, which is pretty amazing. And Ian, I want you to start talking about it.
Okay, hi everyone. So, Planet Tech V4, this has been a major tech initiative for CIG. It's something that we felt very passionate about working on, and some very, very clever people have been working on it. Fundamentally, previously, we couldn't have done a planet like this before, so we're really excited to kind of put it on screen today. One of the first things that you'll see is now we have what we're calling large-scale terrain shadows. So what this means is, even from space, you'll see terrain formations like a mountain cast like long, beautiful shadows across the landscape. And because Microtech is largely snow, this is kind of important, right? Another principle of V4 is we want to dramatically reduce the amount of biome tiling. So what we want to do is it should be a one-to-one. So what you see in space is what you see on ground. The type of popping, crossfading, we want to get rid of that completely. So it should be a seamless transition. Also here, we knew we was going to do a cold planet. We thought it'd be really good to have a frozen ocean. So this was a brand new shader that we put into development. And what we have right now is it's physicalized. So we can walk and drive on it. Yeah. Internally, we're just in love with this technology. It empowers the art team to be able to just create amazing artwork. Yeah.
So one of the things that we've added is basically, and this will tie again into the actor system that we show off later, but the planet, we call it the room system basically, and the room system allows us to have humidity.
But it can be a planet system.
Yes, but it's a planet system.
Basically an environment container.
So it allows us to do precipitation now, or humidity based, and it's all systemic. So if it's a humid planet, then you'll get precipitation on the cockpit or on your visor. Or
yeah, and
like
it will also affect things like the contrails and the effects. And it's all tied in, which later on today we'll show more of. The other thing that we can talk about, other than how beautiful Planet V4 looks, also the fact that, like, I don't know if you noticed, but it's like you don't see repetition of biomes, you don't see, I mean, it just seamlessly from the outside in, it's just smooth, it's pretty awesome. There's some talks today that will talk about the graphics tech behind it and also just how they created the stuff. And as we're flying here, one other thing I want to point out, which is not necessarily the Planetech V4, but it's we've been sort of working on the flight experience, and that's an ongoing project for the combat and the flight experience. But one thing that we'll roll out in 3.8 is what we call the look ahead setup for the cockpit. So if Glenn is flying around here, what we do is we actually take notice of where the velocity vector of the ship is going to be, where the horizon line, if you're on a planetary body, if in space, obviously you wouldn't worry about that. And also if you had a selected target, and the view basically gets sort of biased towards that. And so as you're flying around, you'll feel the cockpit move around you. And it's quite similar if you see people fly, like Tarada does, you know, really cool flying, and he's got head tracking on, right? And you can see pilots generally look where they're going. And also if you're a racing car driver, you look where you're going. And so that's kind of the idea here, rather than having a very static fixed view. You can of course turn it off if you don't like it, but we think it gives a much more fluid experience. We've also been working on the chase camera stuff, so there'll be more fluid vehicular chase camera. You'll see it here, you'll see it a bit later on, and generally that's sort of stuff that we're continually working on. But here we are, we're kind of coming up to a new Babbage, so I'll give it to you, Ian.
Also, another thing which is super interesting, a lot of love went into these pine trees. We have a lot of pine trees, we have a lot of very good artists working on them, but the objects are being distributed and being informed by the terrain. So if you actually look at where those pine trees are, they're distributing real time. Previously we was doing pre-baked masks, and that's where you see these pine trees being distributed into the valleys. It's very interesting. Also, another interesting thing is this planet data is also being utilized for things like game logic, VFX, things like that.
Yeah, well, the VFX is determined by the biome and the environmental data, so you'll get mists rolling over mountains,
Correct.
depending on the atmosphere and the biome data. So it's all very procedural.
Okay, so we're coming into the outer districts of New Babbage here. One of the most important things we did when we started this landing zone is we wanted to learn from the experience of creating Lorville, Area 18. So as we fly over, we wanted to remove these big walls we had to previously build around these landing zones. So when you look down there, you can land there. A lot of you asked me previously, is like, why can't we land there? So that's been a huge initiative. Yeah.
Well, we're also for 3.8 significantly improving the no-fly zone and how you visualize into it. So we won't have like this big ugly mesh that just gets in the way and blows you up. So I think that will help in most locations. But yeah, you can definitely see the sort of learning that's gone over multiple landing zones coming to fruition in New Babbage, which to me feels like probably the best of our sort of cityscape so far.
Yes, we're very proud of it internally. Here you can see one of the signature buildings of New Babbage. This is what we're calling the Aspire Grand. Good job, Glenn.
See if we can get through there. Fancy dancy. Woohoo!
One
And
interesting
the Aspire
thing.
Grand is probably where, if you were starting on New Babbage, it would
Yes.
be one of the places you would have your hab.
I've got a slide to show you later on today. What the view out of that's where the hab's going to be. So if you want your home base or your hab to be on New Babbage, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, and we will, not necessarily with 3.8, but we're going to start transitioning next year towards having people start on the various planets versus start on Port Olisar. So you sort of choose your home base, whether it would be Hurston or Microtech or Crusader, or Area or Arcborg, and then that would be sort of your starting base in terms of playing the game.
And we also understand that you want to get in and out very quickly, so again, that's why we're putting habs in the space stations around, so then you can stay there, you can get in and out very quickly.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. So in spaceports, we will have like motels in airports. We'll have that as an option when you land or not, and then also you can have your sort of permanent apartment in the city, so to speak. And you just pick where it is. So I think we're just heading now to the kind of New Babbage interstellar spaceport, which is actually not. It's across the frozen lake. Or
It's across
ocean.
the lake. One interesting thing is when we were designing New Babbage is we actually geographically scouted where they would build a landing zone. So we built it around this nice water feature.
Might have a free spot for your vehicle. Wait 1 moment while I double check.
Glenn, you didn't ask to land, did you? Where was that? Where was I heard?
Yeah, she's just greeting me.
What's that?
She's greeting me.
Oh, she's just greeting you. Okay, right. Right, and this is pretty. I mean, the New Babbage spaceport has a lot of hangars and.
It has twice the capacity of previous spaceports, and Chris laid down the challenge, said, Ian, let's try building a spaceport in the side of a mountain, and we were like, okay, Chris, let's give it a try.
I want to show off those nice Microsoft planets.
Here we are. One space as promised.
So we've been working on our comms calls internally to get what we would consider a gold standard on that, and then we will slowly roll that out to every AI.
Yeah, and then we still, still have a little on the interaction in terms of requesting it and stuff like that. But yeah, let's head in. Come on, Glenn. You can do it.
What?
And there's, you can see the AI, and this is just a small landing pad, right?
This is a small
So this is
hangar.
only a small one, just to let you guys know. I think we have small, medium, large, and
Extra large.
So
Yeah.
that's just to give you an idea of scale, which I think one of the things that's great with Star Citizen is just that level of scale that can go from, you know, a coffee cup all the way up to a planet. All right. See you later.
Choose.
Okay, and let's go and find Rob, who's gone ahead of time and gotten us a Microtech Science coat and a fake ID. It's just like going out drinking when you're 16.
That was me
I
last
never
week.
did that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So just one thing to note on 3.8. So I'm not
Babbage.
sure I mentioned this, but Microtech will be there. And actually, when we roll out V4, we had to redo every single planet and every single moon. So we did that actually in 2 months,
Yes.
which is a testimony of how quicker the workflow is. So not only is the quality better, but the workflow is much better, because we basically redid everything. It took us about 2 years and 2 months, which is a really good sign for the future and creating more content. But in 3.8 we will have Microtech, but New Babbage itself won't be available as
And the moons.
Internally.
Yeah.
It will be there externally, and then in 3.9 the full of New Babbage will
All
be
of
there,
the
where you can
interior
go
will be
and
ready. Yep.
visit the various areas of it. And now I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the spaceport here, just to.
Well, he's got to make his call first, but we'll see if it.
Well, I
If
think,
VoIP works.
I think the VoIP things, unless they restarted the server, I don't know, the service is down.
All right. So the contact says, "Meet me in the garage area."
Yeah. We're trying to show group gameplay, but the VoIP service, which is what sends the voice and also the animation face data, has been really finicky on our server here.
So as Chris mentioned, New Babbage is going to be our first landing zone where we're not building it in the utilitarian art style. Previously, we've made things like outposts in the high-tech art style, but this is our first opportunity to build a landing zone from scratch. So what you're seeing here is a kind of a glimpse at what the inside of New Babbage will feel like.
And I think we get to New Babbage via that Hyperloop. Like if you look, Glenn,
Yeah.
if you look in the
Yes.
those lines you see there are the Hyperloop, right?
Yes.
That gets to the New Babbage, which has all these different various either living areas or shop areas,
The
and
domes.
stuff like that.
Be advised, we've detected a potential environmental hazard. For your safety, please remain where you are. Microtech, the Empire's leader in cutting-edge technology, where creative innovation meets innovative creativity.
Hi. Is there something I can help you with?
So this is our Cortina-like Microtech
Yes.
The greeter.
greeter.
Here's a funny joke. What do you call a mobile wrist computational unit that is completely made out of helium? Moby gas. Can I help you with anything else?
Are there more jokes? I think there are, yeah.
I have a joke for you. Which standard Earth month has 28 days in it? All of them.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
All right,
You
Glenn.
can thank
Can I
Dave
help you with anything
Haddock
else?
and the writing team for that, right?
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
All right. It was nice chatting with you. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your visit.
Okay, so let's head to meet up Rob and get our fake ID and lab coat.
Attention travelers. For your security, please remain where you are.
So this is how you would access the garages that we have, so you can drive around the city and drive around the planet.
Ah, over here. You must be Glenn.
I am.
I think you'll find everything you're after just over there.
Ooh, over there.
Thank you.
Just a quick update.
All right, let's get the lab coat.
Address the current situation and hope to have you on your way soon. Your patience is appreciated.
So it's early days yet, but the idea is that all the outfits, like the cloth outfits you have, will be physicalized. We'll have some stuff we'll show a little later. So we have the sort of new cloth stuff that I think we've shown in early days before, but you'll be able to take your jacket off, drop it on the ground, it will crumple on the ground, wave it around. And so we're moving towards having everything physicalized. So if you're flying somewhere, and you'll see this why it makes why it's important in the evening demo is, make sure you're equipping yourself correctly. Have you got the right clothes, the right suits, armor, and we're also going to be very focused on giving you positive and negative reasons. So like, if you have a big armored suit, that's not something you can sit down and say, fly a fighter with or something, but it may be what you need outside to survive a hostile environment.
So we grabbed the chip already.
Yep, so we got the chip.
Yep.
Okay. Let's head up and get on the worker shuttle to the Microtech research facility.
Hello, everyone. It looks like we've been given the all clear. Thanks so much for waiting.
And this is sort of an example of a longer-term, multi-stage mission, not in 3.8, but later on that we're building. So there will be challenges that are sort of you versus AI. Environmental challenges versus just also the general, PvP emergent gameplay that can happen. Okay, hopefully that works. Oh, all right, we're through. It's the same with elevators the world over. Just wait for them. And then there you are. Okay, Microtech, home of the Moby Glass. Okay, see? No more of the silly button with the interaction on. You're actually interacting straight with panels. And that is, again, as Todd was saying, part of what the building block UI is going to allow us to embed UI and interactions much easier in the game. So we're up on the rooftop shuttle area. And so one thing that we'll get into later, but we have the player status system is now extending beyond oxygen into temperature. As you can see that it's cold. Don't know if you noticed, but we are actually have breath coming out of our mouth. And if you want to look around your third person, we can sort of see you breathing, I guess.
So another big thing that was just seen was basically AI transitioning from one zone to another zone.
It's cold.
Yeah.
See, he should be wearing his nice warm. All right, let's get on, Glenn. But yeah, so like Todd was saying, it's early stages yet, but we have AI transitioning between zones and grids, nav meshes. So theoretically, you can have an AI come fly, a whole group of AI fly in, land, a whole bunch of troops get out, say the back of a cutlass as reinforcements.
Correct.
In a combat and you fight, which is something we haven't been able to do up to date. So it's really quite cool. And this is actually an AI flown ship that's taking us on a shuttle towards a research facility. And there we are. So this is the end of part one. We've got some cool stuff that will come back at the end of the day. in part 2 to show you some even bigger stuff we're working on. So, so that's just a little bit of a taste to set up some of the panels we've got going on, but we've got some really cool, nice surprises later on. So the closing one, stick around for that, please. I think you will be happy. And we're going to have a great day today. I think if we pull up the schedule for what's happening, here we are. I don't know if you guys are aware of who's enlisted, but we have the Theaters of War happening right now, which is very, very cool. The marketplace is awesome. It's a combination of a whole bunch of community booths as well as some of our other stuff. And yeah, check out the panels. There's some really interesting, great stuff. Jared, over here, do you want to we'll pull up the next card, and you want to talk about what's up and coming? There you go. Hello, you, Jared. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all you guys a little later on this evening. And I hope you'll have a great, great day.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Chris.
you.
You're welcome.